Hey guys, in this video we will create a functional component, but before we do that, make sure your local server is up and running. So if it's not, just open your git bash, navigate to your folder, which is in my case exam htdocs first app, and then type in there npm start as we did in the previous video. And then just open your app.js file and let's clean up a little bit this code from here. So remove everything we have in our class name app div and insert a line which will say hello world. And also on top of this file we import the logo, so let's remove this line as well. And your logo should be in your source file. Feel free to delete it from there because we won't use it. After you did all these changes, after you cleaned it a little bit, save it and go back and check if it works. If you don't have any errors, we can see hello world here, so everything works well. Now let's go ahead and create our functional component. So in our source folder we want to create another folder and we will name it components. And then in our components folder we will create another file and we will name it person.js. So here we will write our functional component. We did, like in the first video, we created our first component, but this is going to be a functional component. We will use ES6 syntax here. So usually we would do something like function in JavaScript, like something is function, and then we have person, and here should be the parameters, and then brackets here. But using ES6, this is gonna look different. So we will have a variable, const variable, and variable is gonna be person, and we will assign to this variable all this function. So we don't have any parameters here. And then we have our brackets, and then here we want to return our JSX. So we have our wrapper here, which is div, because we already know from the previous video that we cannot return two components except we have our wrapper. So whenever we want to return more than a component, we should have a wrapper. So in our case, this div is the wrapper. Okay, and here I'm just gonna insert a line which will say my name is Victor. Okay, this is not gonna work even if we save it right now. This is not gonna work just because we didn't import the React. We should import React as we see in our app.js. We don't have to import the component because we didn't create a class. We need a component whenever we have a class which extends the component. Now here we have just a function, so we should just import the React from React. And also here below our function we should export our person, export our component. We do this in order to be able to import it in our app.js file. So after you are done with this person.js, save this file and let's go back to our app.js. And here on top of this file we want to import the person from, and then we have here the person's location, which is components / person. We don't have to write here .js. We don't have to. So I'm not gonna do that. I will just put components and then person. And then after that I'm just call this component in our right below hello world. So we have person, now close the tag. Now here you can choose any other name you want. It's not a must to be person. Here it's important to this name to be so here with export you should have your component's name here, but here you can choose, you can put anything else you want. So we have the person, we called it in our render function here, Let's save it and let's go back and see how it looks like. So we have here hello world, which comes from our app.js file, and then my name is Victor, which comes from person.js file. Now here I want to use some JavaScript functions. So I'll say I am my age years old. I'm just gonna replace this star here. We'll have brackets, and here we will have math dot floor, and then here we'll have math dot random, and we will multiply by 30. I'll save it. Let's go back and see if it works. So we see it works. I'm 0 years old. Let's refresh it. It shows a different age every time we refresh the page. So that's how this ES6 looks like, a component, a functional component. And that's it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for your attention, and see you in the next lecture.